Hey, before I go, I just want to say, ooh, hopefully my freaking dad doesn't cut out. Hey everyone, it's Jay Realty back at it again with another video.
Y'all, it's Nicki Minaj.
Before I started working, like, you know, like before you start a job, you always look up like, oh, working at so-and-so, like, you know, basically. So I'm making a video like that for other people to know about how Walmart is a trash company and you shouldn't work for it, okay? So to give you a little bit of context, I worked at Walmart last year from April 2021 to like September 2021, like 6 months or so. And I was a personal shopper. It was a good job. It was a summer job. It paid well. I got 13. It wasn't a hard job. I mean, you just pick people's groceries and put them in a room. And yeah, it was pretty easy. So sometimes I was taking it out to them, blah, blah, blah. But it was one of my coworkers I started talking to, excuse me. And she was so nice, like, you know, so I was like, you know, I vibe with her. So then her daughter decided, like, you know, her daughter comes to work like summers and like, you know, holidays. So her daughter comes and like her daughter was really cool, like we're the same age, so we just bond and we're like really close work friends, you know. So and I had a few work friends during my time at Walmart, but like she was my closest. And like all of my coworkers were sweet except for like this one girl. Like she had like anger problems, but we're not gonna get into that because
Child. Anyway, so
I started like talking to my coworker, and my manager was mad that I was talking to her because like if you were in like a pick, well, like we get picks every hour, so maybe like 400 picks, 400 items to pick 1 hour and like 600 minutes, like you just never know. So when we finished, we'll have like maybe 10-15 minutes left to converse and talk, you know. So my manager didn't like that we would talk for 15 minutes. He would be like, you know, go, you know, act like you're doing something, like take out the cardboard and stuff like that, like other jobs. And he was like, the reason we pay you so much is because you should be able to do every job in the store. That's basically what he was like. You should be able to do every job in the store. I'm like, y'all barely paying like 13, honey. Like, I just don't understand how they think that's a lot of money, you know what I mean? So I'm like, you know, that's not my job. Like, my job is personal shopper, but you get paid so much as a personal shopper, you have to do every other job, but blah, 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 blah. Like, that's an issue you run into at Walmart, sadly. It's true, like, I'm not gonna let employers just walk over me and treat me any kind of way, you know? So, fast forward that, like, I just started having problems with him. Like, he took a TC, which is like the phone you used to work that you scan groceries with and stuff. He took the TC and just slammed it in my hand one day, and I was just like, that's just so disrespectful. Like, if I told him, I was like, if I did that to you, you would feel disrespected. And so like he was like, come to the back, you know, we'll talk about it. So we got a manager, we talked about it, and then he was just like, y'all need to respect each other, and if he disrespects you, he was referring to me, I'll write him up. So we're gonna call my manager, I'm just gonna say his freaking name because freak him, like he's a racist. So Roberto, starts like just watching me write me up. So Roberto had this problem with me because I was talking to my coworker, and one of his problems was like I wouldn't do anything in the downtime, but I was a good, you know, worker. So I'm just like, you don't want me to talk? Like, you let everybody else talk. Well, it's a problem when I talk. Like, it's 2 coworkers dating. Like, 4 of my coworkers are dating, and he just let them talk all the time. But if I talk, it's a problem. You know, like, I'm not trying to be funny, but only African American, you know. The problem started like in July when we had the 4th of July. My coworker, who it was Roberto's assistant manager, Lauren, and I'm kind of trying to change things a little bit. Lauren, and she brought cupcakes to the job, and they were okay. Like, baby, they was kind of dry. They were okay, but it's okay. So we were just eating them, like everybody was eating them in the workroom, like the room where we stage groceries. So like, you know, when a person comes, we can bring it out to them. So then a week later, we get rewarded for, you know, having high pick rates and all that. So they give us ice cream and it's like a little small Bluebell, like that big Bluebell ice cream things that you can like take individually and put like in your pocket. So at the time I took some, put it in my pocket, and ate it, right? So this is like a Saturday. So then like Monday, I'm with my co-worker friend, you know, and she like has a spill, and you know, like when an employee has a spill, you have to stay by it. You can't leave like your area when there's a spill. So I was like, you know, girl, what's wrong? Because I saw it, and she was like, I have a spill, blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, I'll go get a manager. So at the time, I went to a manager who was like an asset protection manager, and he's like asset protection, like, you know, kind of a manager. So I went to him, and then I was like, yeah, so she has a spill, blah blah blah. He was like, okay, get some paper towels and clean it. And I was like, clean it? Like, that's not my job. Like, why would I clean that? Are you gonna pay me? Are you gonna pay me two people's jobs, like two people's wage? Like, so of course I said that, and he was like, take a plea of this. Yeah, take a plea of this. And I was like, okay, well, I'm in the pick walk and we're behind on picks, so can you call the janitor? Because we had like a custodial person there, and he was like, we're gonna clean it. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I'm not gonna argue with him because like it's no point in arguing in this situation. So I just go like take my order because I finished my pick walk. I picked all the groceries, so I went to go stage it in the staging room. And he was like, he comes up to me like when I'm done staging, hey, like, why did you? And we're gonna call him Andy. Andy was like, hey, why did you leave me? That's not right. That's not right. So I'm like,
Bitch, shut up.
like we're behind on picks, and he told like my other manager, Brady was like, go ahead and, you know, start picking stuff because we're behind. So I was like, okay, so I'm doing what my other manager was telling me. And he was like, that's not right. That you definitely clean up. That's not right. I was like, it wasn't my spill. If it was my spill, I can see why you would be upset, and I would have no problem cleaning my own spill. But like, I'm not gonna clean another coworker's spill. Like, no. So then he's like, come with me, you know, we're walking. And I was like, that's not my job. And then he was like, what'd you say? And I was like, that's not my job. And he was like, come with me. So he takes me back to go see Brady, like this manager. Like, he was cool. And he was like, say what you just said to me to him. And I was like, it's not my job. Like, do you think I'm gonna switch up like what I said? Because why would I switch up what I said? Like, I'm not scared. Like, you're not gonna intimidate me. You know, like these employers really think they can intimidate us. Like, you're not gonna scare me because guess what? I can leave. I don't have to work here. Like, who are you talking to? You need to stop getting like high and mighty off this little bit of power you got and respect me, because you know, like, you need me. You know, you need me. He sends me home. So next day I talked to another manager, Billy, and he was just like, he wasn't supposed to do that. Like, he would prefer me to keep picking, blah 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 blah. And he's gonna talk to that manager. Mind you, the manager that Andy took me to, he was like, he didn't know what to say because, like, you know, like, it's not my job, you know? So he kind of was thinking it's not my job too. Oh yeah, I gotta take a photo. No, that's not 20, so. Okay. Anyway, so that happens, and the manager talks to him, right? So remember I said that I was eating ice cream like Saturday, and this incident happened like a Monday. Did I say something for it? But no, it happened like, it was like a day difference. So then that happens. So then, like, the day after my manager talked to him, he was like, yeah, like, we're writing you up for eating on the floor. And I was like, eating on the floor? Like, really? Eating on the floor? Like, people eat on the floor every day, you know. like, so my manager, who was my team lead, he was like, yeah, like, we saw you eating on the floor. We're not paying you to eat on the floor. I was like, really? Like, I feel like it's retaliation for me telling on Randy. And he was like, well, Andy, you get it. And he was like, it's not retaliation. You're just saying you're not supposed to do blah, blah, blah. So he writes me up. I talked to the store manager. The store manager was like, yeah, I told him to write you up because you're eating on the floor. You're not supposed to do that. And I was like, really? You don't think it's like retaliation? Because I was like, really? Like, I need to speak to HR then if you don't think this is retaliation, because obviously it is. Like, he's getting back at me for telling on him. And he was like, no, it's not retaliation, blah, blah, blah. So, like, of course, like, I had no power in that situation. Like, there's no way I could punish him because, you know, I'm just a victim of the freaking system that I'm in. And, like, they did not take my side at all. And I was like, really? Like, we were literally just eating in the staging room. You need to write everybody else up in the staging room. And he was like, you're not supposed to do that. We're gonna talk to them about it. Like, I'm gonna tell your other team leads and assistant team leads to talk to your team about it, and we'll make sure it doesn't happen again. But yeah, we're still gonna write you up. Like, nobody else got in trouble. Nobody else. And, you know, I was the only black person. I was the only black male working there, by the way. All the white people in the room got to eat. Got to eat on the floor, drinking on the floor. Saw one do it after I got rolled up. She was eating on the floor, right in front of him. Then get rolled up. I mean, you can't make this up. And when I had came to work with nails on because of pride, and people like coworkers were talking about me, of course. And my manager like was looking at me like he was like really looking at me like I was disgusted. And I was like, I don't care. Kept getting in trouble. Like, he just kept picking on me. Like, he was mad I took the last 15 minutes I had of work. He like tried to let me go get buggies, and he was mad they cleared the whole lot. He just like come for me, and I took I got in trouble for taking a 45-minute break after they had me doing buggies in like 80, 90 degree weather for an hour. And we took some like learning things on the computer, and it was like, if you need like a break after you get done working in the sun, you can take a break as long as you need. Just make sure you talk to your manager about it, you know, until you get to a place where you can come back into work. So my manager wasn't there. I had no manager there that day, and it was like a pseudo manager, I guess, and she told that I was on a 45-minute. And I'm like, girl, you trying to be a manager? You trying to be like a snitch? What I want to say, you know. So, like, you trying to be a manager or you want to be a snitch, you know? Like, his best friend is, like, his assistant manager, and then this girl who kissed his butt is, like, assistant to the assistant, and she's really just, like, a tattletale, and she has, like, an attitude, and she gets smart a lot. Probably because she was nasty and funky. I'm just saying. My coworkers, like, my boss's assistant manager, they were best friends for 20 years, right? And the assistant manager was a female, of course. Lauren was a female, and she had a son who worked there named Austin, and he was dating my manager's daughter. Like, the boy, he's our manager for a day when we have like no managers. He's the manager. Anyways, like I was saying, he is like 16. He just turned 16 last year. So I'm like, it's just so unprofessional. But he's like, my store manager was like, it's okay because the position she's in isn't really a manager position. It's just like helping the manager. I was like, you know, why is he a manager? You know, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, so that was the last straw. So really, I kind of quit. I didn't really quit. Let me stop that. Because I was waiting for the intercom at my store to work, so I can get on the intercom and I can be like, you know, freak everybody in here, like blah 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 blah, like just say my, give them a piece of my mind, because at this point I was getting fired no matter what. Like, they were trying to get me out of there. They were writing me up And everybody was telling me, like, you should just leave, because at this point, and even I had coworkers that I wasn't even cool with. Like this one chick, she was like, yeah, I don't know why he's always coming for her. Like, if this girl can see it, like, it's not just me. It's giving racism. It's giving homophobia. It's giving KKK. And you know what? I had confronted my manager. I was like, I feel like you're racist. Like, you have something against me. Like, you must be homophobic or racist. He didn't answer the homophobic part, but he was like, I have plenty of black friends. I'm so sad that you would call me racist. And of course, like, the other manager was laughing when I accused him of it. Like, you know, when you have privilege, you don't have to take things seriously. It's always a joke. So, anyway, that's basically it. Like, after that, but anyway, half my shift put me to the room, you're fired, blah, blah, blah. So they really fired me, but I was like, okay, so this is like my time. They're here. Everybody's here that I need to talk to. So I was like, you know, gave them a piece of my mind, video. I see you both back there in the room and just cut them out and leave. I'm done. Before I go. I just got terminated. Hold on, before I go. I'm done with this job. Hey, before I go, I just want to say, fuck you, Robert, for being a racist, homophobic asshole. Fuck you. Fuck you. Attention Walmart associates and employees. Robert is a racist motherfucker. Brian is a piece of shit store manager because he didn't know it was retaliation when Randy's bitch ass decided to write me up when he knew I told on him a few days ago. Fuck y'all. Fuck Walmart. I quit. You can't fire me. I quit this bitch ass job. Bye. Fuck Walmart. Bye, Benita. Have a good day. Fuck this job. The assistant manager's son was like laughing about, he thought it was funny, the Confederate flag was funny. And he wore like a belt with the Confederate flag and all that. And I made this video really to let my voice be heard because sadly I don't have an audience like a lot of other big famous people. But hopefully people find this video and kind of think twice before they apply to Walmart personal shopper position. I guess I'll say thank you for listening to my little rant, story time, whatever. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. I just kind of had to give you context. I really like skipped over a lot, I'm sure, but I didn't really feel like taking the time to sit down and write about something that happened like 6-8 months ago. I just didn't feel like taking the time to remember all that because it's in the past. I let it go. But just so people can know, like, don't work for Walmart.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Anyways, bye, and I will see you guys maybe Friday or next week. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't, click that like and subscribe button and ring that notification bell.